What's up? So I got a new album coming out in a week or two titled Yeah Mate, Your Beginner's Guide to Being an Artist. Thought it'd be a great time to give back and give you 5 tips on what it takes to be an artist. Over the backdrop we have a time lapse of me shooting my cover art with the beautiful model Jessie. Her socials are in the description if you want to go check her out. Now for the beginner's guide of being an artist, we'll start with number 1. First thing you want to do, write down 3 to 5 goals. Once you've picked a date when you're going to start to be an artist for the next 4 months. These goals can be anything from in 4 months time you want to have performed at least twice. It could be you wanted to have set up all your social media if you're just starting out and haven't done that, setting up Twitter and Instagram and all of that. The number 1 tip for writing goals, what I can say is try to make your goals reliant on what you as an artist can do yourself independently, rather than goals that rely on other people, like getting 100 people to follow you on Instagram. As you can see, these are my goals right here that I set by the end of July, and I set this, I gave myself 3 months. I wanted to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I wanted to have an album finished. I wanted to have 4 music videos. I wanted to have 10,000 TikTok followers and perform twice. Now unfortunately I wasn't able to do this. Because due to some strange event happened, and when we weren't able to go outside and perform, we had to stay inside for some unknown reason. I managed to tick off as much as I could, and working towards those goals and having those set and written down really helped me push forward and try to make it, even if I didn't meet 100% of them. And yeah, make sure your goals are achievable. Your goal shouldn't be get more streams than Kendrick Lamar, shouldn't be book out a stadium. You're gonna have to be realistic about where you are and what you can achieve. The next thing you want to do when you've done all that, you want to pick 3 to 5 artists that inspire you. You want to be a musician, you want this to be your life. You're gonna have people who put that there. As you can see, these are my artists. I got Kendrick Lamar. His style is really great, and each of his songs is a message, and he had a way to make something that's commercially listenable while at the same time making something that's grounded and down to earth and has a message. So I really appreciated that style. And then I've got MF Doom. MF Doom had a really interesting and unique style that's undeniable, but he also had a way of giving a day in the life, putting you in a specific time period and making you feel that. The great artist can really capture a moment of time, and MF Doom really captured the early 2000s in New York, or like any big city. The feeling and the walking down the streets and the sounds that you hear and the pop culture that you see on the streets and all of. He really captured that time, and I like the way an artist can do that, just capture a time period and put that in their music. So he was a huge inspiration for me. We've also got Bob Dylan. He really did chart his own course for a lot of things. He had an eye of what his audience wants to hear. He also had an eye on, where he wants to develop to as an artist, whether there's going to be a market for his next music. I like the way through his lineage he's done that, so he's a big one for me. I also really like Muse and the way they do their concepts album. Muse, the lead singer really takes the voice of a resistance fighter, and through a whole album you listen to it start to finish. You start to hear a story of this resistance fighter and what he's going through and how he's interacting with the world around him, and having that sort of a concept and then being able to relate that to an everyday story is the reason why Muse is up there as an inspiration for me. So what you want to do, you want to write down your inspirations, pick 3 to 5 different artists and just dissect what about them you like. And this is before you start the journey, so you can get a sort of okay, I like this from this artist, I like this from this artist, and this is how I incorporate myself into being an artist. Now once you've done that, you've got your goals. You've got artists that inspire you written down. After that, what you're gonna want to do is study your craft and practice. Now there's plenty of options for learning anything, whether it's going to be hip hop, whether it's going to be painting, whether it's going to be streaming, whatever you want to do. There's plenty of tutorials, plenty of things resources to access if you want to look for them. And you've got to spend that time to study. Like, is it rhyme flows? Is it, lyrics? Is it lyrical style? You've got your influences of what you like about them. Now you're wanting to spend that time perfecting and studying the craft of what you're doing. and practicing that. For me, I used to practice every day on the bus. I'd be writing new lyrics, I'd be writing new songs every single day, and sharpen my talents as someone who can rhyme and someone who can put together a story through lyrics. Practicing daily is definitely the key. So every single day writing a rap, every single day rapping your favorite song as a cover, that's what's gonna get you ahead. Or when you do sit in the studio, you're not gonna be producing music that's unlistenable or just has no talent behind it. A lot of it comes from the lineage of your influences, and it's never been easier to find all these resources online, or even just through YouTube. Quick YouTube search, quick Google search, you can find quick how-to guides, and you got to spend that time to find them and figure things out. So what do you do once you've done that? Once you've written the goals, aiming for what you're aiming, you've studied the craft, you've got your inspirations, the next thing to do, the next thing you want to focus on is getting what you produce out there into the world, making the art that you've made heard. Now the best way to do that is growing in this day and age while everyone's locked down is through social media platforms. So are you going to somehow grow an Instagram following, a YouTube following, a TikTok following, Facebook following? There's a whole list of followings, a whole list of platforms, and maybe you're watching this at a time when there's a new platform. You got to spend the time to figure out which platform is discoverable and where you're going to do the work. There's also the platforms of a live stage. If that's an option, that's a great way to get heard, is to perform your songs and perform your music. But at the end of the day, that might not always be an option. So you've got to spend the time to research what platforms you can use to get discovered. You got to find ways to find what platforms you can get discovered on, and do everything in your power to make the content and put the time into those platforms to make something great. Music videos as a musician is an excellent way to do that, but there's a ton of others. And maybe the advice that I give you for today might not be relevant tomorrow. So spend the time to figure out what platforms you're going to go on and go all out. I would pick 2 platforms specifically. So for me, I picked YouTube and I picked TikTok. I made content for YouTube, made content for TikTok to get my content out there and to produce. But again, I did that because we were in lockdown and I can't perform. So figure out at least 2 platforms and spend a lot of energy trying to grow a following on those platforms. Now that we've done all that, we've written our goals, we've picked artists that inspire us, we've studied the craft and spent time, we've made content for platforms to be discovered on and grow a following on. What's the last step to being an artist? Listen to my new album. Yeah, mate. The link will be in the description. Have a nice day, and I hope you enjoy this artwork.